As a city boy also interested in agriculture, I would like to see more agriculture close by, near cities. Once upon a time, agriculture thrived on the periphery of cities. It's largely been disappearing for many reasons, economics mainly. And I think that's unfortunate. I think that cities lose something very important if they are not in reasonable contact with agriculture. Farmers markets, for example, I think are a wonderful thing. It's not just the food you get from these farms, but to be able to see them, to be exposed to a different kind of life, to be exposed to a part of American life that is very important but has kind of separated and gone its separate way from cities. You miss out when you don't see these things. So I was interested in what's going on in agriculture on the periphery of the metropolis all around the country. So
that resulted in this book.
Yes,
Sustaining Agriculture Near Cities. You said all across the country. Did you actually do research?
Well,
all across the country?
I have done both. I mean, not visiting firsthand all around the country. That's kind of out of the question. But working from the Census of Agriculture and other statistical sources, I did some analyses of metropolitan area agriculture nationwide. In this area, in eastern Massachusetts, I could get a little more intensive in my studies. I could go to farms and talk to the farmers and do more in-depth studies of actual farms on the fringes of metropolitan areas here, and I did that as well. So I kind of specially concentrated on Massachusetts, but some of the work was national in scope as well.
Some cities are protecting the farmland with special tax breaks, or some states or counties aren't they? Which states are doing particularly far-sighted work in this area, or do you know that?
It was very far-sighted in 1956, I believe it was, when Maryland was the first state to give a special tax consideration to farmland. Now every state does that.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes, but that's minimal. It's good, but it's minimal. That by itself came nowhere close to stopping the decline of agriculture near cities. So states do other things. In Massachusetts, for example, and quite a few others, we have a provision whereby the state will buy up the development rights to farmland as a way of guaranteeing that the land stays open. The farmer can keep farming it but can't sell it for a shopping development or residential development, whatever, and other kinds of programs like that. I think that I take a slightly different view of this from most people who have worked in this field. Most people take the view that how can we stop the city from encroaching on farming? And my view is, what I would like to see more emphasis put on is how can we make the farms strong enough that they are not encroached upon? It's a more positive or a more constructive approach. It's not so much a question of putting up a wall or a barrier and saying, city, keep out, this is farmland, because that's very expensive. It's more a question of keeping the farms economically strong, making it, most farmers near cities, I believe, and I have some studies that I've done that support this, want to stay in farming. But they sometimes have to be given a little help to make it possible, to overcome the pressures. So I think that instead of just putting in the money into, say, purchase of development rights, which is a pretty expensive proposition, running several $1,000s per acre, that money might be put into other things, such as in farmers markets, because people love farmers markets.
They do.
Or putting maybe some kind of investment, a loan fund whereby farmers can get the equipment they need to raise new crops that will be especially suitable for selling to urban consumers and so forth. So I would like to phrase it more positively. That's why this conference, this also was a conference proceedings about 5 years ago, that's why I called it Sustaining Agriculture Near Cities. Preservation, which is the term that a lot of people use, it seems to me a little negative. It's more a question of keeping the body from rotting. You preserve things in formaldehyde in museums. Sustaining, to me, suggested something a little more positive, a little more vital. And I think in the long run, that is the way that farms near cities will stay alive.